All right, here we go. We're live. Live on the Metal Voice, episode 1 of
This is what we
Alan.
Friday Funny.
Deep dive into Alan Dixon's Vinyl Vault
There you
game.
go.
People are saying, what the heck is going on here? Vinyl Vault game? What the heck is this? This is how it works, Alan.
Okay,
I warm up.
You tell me the rules.
The rules were established 15 minutes ago.
10 seconds ago. There's three ways
Literally,
we can do this.
15 minutes ago, the rules were established.
There's three ways we can do this. I'll let you come up with yours first.
Okay, so here we go. So this is a die, a letter die, okay? So it can land on any letter, all right? From there, we take that letter. Remember it. Then we have a die.
Alphabetical order.
Yeah, then we have a die with
There you
6
go.
numbers, right? We roll one, we roll the other one. As an example, let's say we got H3, okay? Then Alan would look into his vinyl what H3 is.
What's H3?
Yeah, because Alan's very
Where's
organized.
H3?
Alan is very organized. I'm the complete opposite.
Or we can do it that way.
Okay.
Or people can just type in their letter
Yes.
with a number.
Yes.
And if you say number 20 and I only have 5 in that letter, like
Mhm.
Q, right? We're not going to have 20 under Q.
That's right.
And we're talking metal albums.
Yep.
Then I'll just take the last one.
Exactly.
Or you could just say, oh, what you got in the Metallica? You got Metallica, this one. And there's Easter eggs hidden inside of these. We can see, you can guess if there's an Easter egg or not an Easter egg. Well, there's many facets to this game. So
that we made up
funny,
15 minutes ago.
We're going to, you guys choose which one.
Yes.
This is just my metal collection.
Yep.
There's other vinyls on other shelves,
And
then we do a little recollection. What do you remember about this? What do you remember about the time? And I'll try to find the date that it was purchased and who I purchased it from, and we'll try to figure it out that way. And just a little reminiscing on what we call our Fun Friday here on the Metal Voice.
Dress down. Cause see, I'm not wearing my metal shirt, so it's dressed down for my metal shirts on Friday. But you are.
A lot of nations, except
Old Harry Productions, W7. You know what, Alan? I think I'd rather, instead of rolling, we'll take what the people say, okay?
Well, that's it. Again, that's...
Let me roll up my sleeves.
Yes,
Let me roll up
this
my
is
sleeves.
what... I like that because that's how I grew up. When my daughter was born, we'd be, what do you want to listen to this afternoon? I'd say, call out a letter and a number, and that's what we'd be listening to. So if you want to do it that way, I am completely cool with doing it that way. I'm very used to doing it that way. So.
All right, let's see who's in the group here, the chat. Old Harry's
got
got
I mean, this is my... This is short notice. So we got a W7 happening. Let's start this off, Jim.
Wait a second. Before we start things off, let's see who's in the room. Okay.
All right, what do you got happening?
Because the people are just jumping on now. Right, Alan?
Figure it out. I'm going to go find W7.
Ben is saying, hi, guys. Benny's saying, I have an ambulance shirt on. That's not dressed down. I'm not sure unless you're an ambulance driver. And Mike is saying, lime green thong, cold beverage. I'm ready. Alan?
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so this is how it goes. If I don't see anybody give me a letter and a number, if nobody puts it in the chat, then we will.
Then you roll the dice.
Then I will roll. I will roll the dice. So my letter. We need a letter and we need a number.
All right.
Okay?
Well, as Jim, as a test here, somebody already wrote W7.
W7.
All right. Here we go. I'm pulling out.
W7.
From the vinyl collection, yep. W7. David Whitesnake's Snakebite. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
David covered his Whitesnake's Snakebite. So you got, of course, with Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City on there. Yeah, this was a used record. I bought it from a used record store probably about 10 years ago. $8.
Alan, show it again. Let's see what it looks like. Is this a live album?
No, this is David covered album. This is
his solo album.
this
Is
is the
that?
first. Well, yes,
Oh,
there was David covered those Whitesnake. There was North Winds, and then when he formed the group, it was this one, Snakebite.
Snakebite, which
Different
I don't
covers.
have.
You can find it with different covers. This is the Electrola EMI cover.
Mm-hmm.
Harvest. Sunburst is the label.
So this was on Independent. Is that what it was?
I was on Sunburst, which was their. If I read Whitesnake's Martin Popoff book and Whitesnake, if I remember correctly, their management was also their record label, which was not the best scenario for getting paid. But on here we've got, of course, Bernie Marsden, Mickey Moody, Neil Murray, and I believe that's Mr. Pete Sully on keyboards and Dave Dowell on drums. So that was the early incarnation of the band Whitesnake. David Coverdale, Snakebite. I would have to say that the Queen of Hearts, I think that was already covered on a previous album, but you got Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City, which remained a staple to this very day.
Is there any Easter eggs? Are there any Easter eggs in the album?
You guys guess if there's an Easter egg in the album or not. I'll give you 10 seconds before answering if there's an Easter egg in the album. No, there's no Easter egg in that.
All right, there we go. You bought it used?
I bought it used.
For $8.
Record.
$8.
I bought a used record when it was reasonably priced because nobody was buying vinyls back then. So,
all right, Michael saying N2.
M2. We have you
N,
sang
like
my
Nancy,
Battleship.
Nancy 2.
You sang
N.
Nancy. Okay, you
Nancy,
sang my Battleship.
Nancy. We got to use the Army lingo here. Is it Nancy or is it Norman? I'm not sure.
Oh,
Michael,
no,
what's the Army
N2?
N2.
In this collection here, I have 0 N's, like Nancy.
Jesus,
that's interesting. I have a Nazareth album. Let's see over here. We'll go to
this
Plan
game
B.
is not working well, Alan. You don't have an N2.
Okay. We'll go to Plan B. There's no
Nacho.
problem.
Nacho
N2,
is N2.
One.
Nacho.
Okay, I found it. We'll go to
Right.
another shelf. N2, Night Ranger, Dawn Patrol.
Don't
Remember
tell me
that
you
one,
love
Jim?
me.
Jim, I'll tell you a little story about this one.
Mm-hmm.
That song that you just sang,
Mm-hmm.
Don't Tell Me You Love Me, I couldn't get that out of my head. And we were supposed to go strawberry picking that day to get some money. That's how we made money, was picking strawberries. But the bus was full by the time we got there and we couldn't go. So I decided to go downtown, buy this album. And you know what I landed up buying instead?
What?
Quiet Riot, Mental Health.
Look at that. So
So
we're going back
I
to
bought
1983 here. Yeah.
This I bought basically what, maybe 5 years ago? 50 cents. I paid 50 cents at a used record store. Night Rangers, Dawn Patrol, and I still love that song, Don't Tell Me You Love Me. I mean, that's the one for me that started it all with that band. So
You know what I remember from that song? The video that they shot for it. So they had no money, right, to shoot a video back in the day. They hired the UCLA or one of those film universities to make it for them. And I think he's like on a subway or something or another. And so it was sort of like on the fly, get some students, some free labor, make the video, and it became a smash hit. It was like crunchy, heavy, yet melodic.
And don't forget, Brad Gillis was just leaving. He just did Speak of the Devil with Ozzy.
Yeah.
Just before.
Open it up, Alan. Open it up. Let's see what it looks like.
There's nothing.
There's no sleeve? There's no liner notes in there?
No, I got no liner notes.
Nothing.
I bought this in 2009.
50 cents.
December 4th, when everybody was dumping their vinyls. Like I said, I paid 50 cents for it. There's not even a sleeve inside.
Jeez. Look
But
at that.
I still love that song. And Jack Blades, of course, that went on to do Damn Yankees and Revolution Saints with our good friends Dean Castronovo and, of course, Doug Aldridge. And Brad Gillis is still out there. And I mean, they're still recording, right? I think they released an album a couple of years ago. So
Their 30th or something like that.
go. So that would be N2, but we're going to deeper into the vault, Jimmy.
All right, Lawrence has just joined us. Lawrence, we need a letter and a number, or anybody else. Carlos, what do you got? A letter and a number. I need a letter and a number. All right, Betty's saying, first time I heard Night Ranger was a video on TV during our lunch break from work. We were stoned to the bone and digging. All right, Carlos. Carlos all the way in Portugal. Portugal.
Okay,
Portugal. Yes. Look at this.
I love the Portuguese.
L7. And we'll do this in army terms. Lima.
Do
7.
I smell loudness? I don't know. Let's see here. L7. Let's go. All right.
I smell sushi.
The Zeppelin.
L7.
Got it
Lima,
right here.
7. Oh.
Loudness. The birthday Eve. Got this from my good friend Stiff Rod, the legendary Stiff Rod. For you who've been watching the Metal Voice for the past decade. Hey, actually, Jim, congratulations. 12 years we've been doing this show.
Oh, yes. You know what? Actually, we should have
mentioned.
That's right. That needs to be mentioned.
A dozen years.
Yes.
And this is Stiff Rod's a legendary figure here on the Metal Voice. This is from his collection. He decided he was going to liberate his vinyl, and I was able to purchase quite a bit. He was a huge fan, went back and bought all the Japanese copies. Mm-hmm. This is on a Japanese label, which doesn't even say which one it's on.
Melissa is here. Melissa, good thing you're here. Work is
this
over.
This is on Megaton.
Oh,
is
yeah.
the label.
Megaton.
Remember that label, Megaton?
No.
So,
no. Melissa, we need a letter and a number, please. A letter and a
Loudness. Couldn't understand the words because I think it is in Japanese.
Alan, that's their first one, Birthday Eve, right? Birthday's Eve. No, what's it called? Oh my God, I'm so confused.
I think there was Devil Soldier was before that, Jim.
Devil Soldier, which was in Japanese.
Then there's the Birthday Eve.
The Birthday Eve, and then after that was the famous.
There was the live. There's a Akira Takasaki solo album, Tusk of Jaguar.
But now you're jumping ahead.
And then there was Live Loudness Alive, a great double album.
Which is the famous one, the famous Japanese, the last one, sung in Japanese. What's it called again? Disillusion, right? They came out, they had the Japanese. That was like the big album, right? Right before the live album, Disillusion.
So that's straight from the 80s. Stiff Rod, I remember him purchasing that. Huge Loudness fan.
Yeah.
And
Carlos is saying Birthday Eve was the first.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
Yeah. Or maybe we're wrong. Can somebody please Google that?
Let's see here. Hold on.
Law of the Devil's Land.
Hold on, I got them here.
Wait a second. We got to figure this out. This is like.
All right. So I've got 1983 Roadrunner Records Devil Soldier.
Yeah. The Birthday Eve was the first one. No. Birthday Eve.
The Law of Devil's Land.
Yeah. And Disillusion.
Let's see. Law of Devil's Land. Let's see if they say a date on the label. Megaton. No dates. Megaton is actually made in Holland. I learned something new today.
Alan, 81, Birthday's Eve. Okay, Birthday Eve. Number 82, Devil Soldier. Okay. 83, The Law of the Devil's Land.
All right.
And then 84 is Disillusion, then the English version of Disillusion. Right?
So, Birthday Eve, Devil Soldier, and Law of the Devil's Land.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. Thank you for that. I have just readjusted.
Here we go. Let's get the next number going here. Okay. Melissa Nee says.
Melissa, what do you got?
M2.
Michael 2.
Michael 2.
Let's go see
or
what
Megadeth
Michael 2 says. We're going past the L's.
What do we got? Oh, Alan, you didn't say if there was a secret egg in the Loudness.
No Loudness. Secret eggs. Here we go. M2.
M.
Right.
as a
This
Megadeth.
is what we'll be reviewing
2.
this weekend.
Whoa!
Rising Force, marching out.
Marching out.
All right, so let's go have a look. See here, I
But
remember
before-
getting this.
Alan, pause right there. So this weekend, we're talking to Nick Bocott, the guitarist of Grim Reaper. He's going to give us a rundown of the first 4. Is it the first 4? First 4 Yngwie Malmsteen albums.
We will be reviewing this.
We will be reviewing it and rating them. Go ahead. Sorry.
I got this from my good friend Jimbo back in September 5th, 1986. He wasn't overly impressed with the album, and he's a guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'll pick it up off of you. And I think we don't want any spoiler alerts, but I mean, I think when people think of Rising Force, they think of this album. So,
are there any Easter eggs? Easter eggs inside?
No Easter eggs in that one.
Alan, is that Jimmy Kwan you're saying, Jimbo, or is it some other
Jimbo, the magic elephant.
By the way, Todd LaTorre met Stiff Rod.
Todd was enamored to finally meet the legendary Stiff Rod.
Good old Stiff Rod. All right.
So what was your thoughts of that album? You remember that album, Jim?
Oh, Marching Out. I don't want to give my thoughts on this because we're going to talk about this on Sunday. So I'll save my thoughts for Sunday.
All right.
I don't want to be a party.
Here we are on Fun Friday, going through my personal vinyl.
I'm on Dress Down. Look, you see? I'm on Dress Down. I'm dressed down. I'm not wearing my metal shirt today, right?
You guys choose, we pick, and then you decide with a little recollection and share your thoughts of these albums and your
okay. I'm going to do a roll. Unless somebody else, I'm going to do a roll just to see what it's like. So this is the letter roll.
Okay.
I stole from Scrabble. No, from Scattergories. Okay, here we go. I'm rolling it, Alan. This is actually how I make my meatballs. Right here. Look at that. All right. Oh, another N. N. I got an N. Anyways, it fell on an N. Now I'm going to take my die right here.
Oh, you're going to make me go over to the other shelf.
It's like a little grape. Here.
No 9-inch nails, unfortunately.
9-3. 9-3.
N3.
All right. N as in Nazareth 3.
All right.
Melissa's wearing her Christmas PJs. Michael, Snake Eyes.
Oh, wait a minute.
Can't be Snake Eyes. The letter and a number. N3.
Yep.
What's going on over there, Alan?
Okay, I got it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Remember this one? Huge album back in 1982. Aldo Nova.
Aldo.
First eponymous album.
Aldo.
Pick this up for $1, Jim. Used record store, $1. 1981, 1982.
Wow, look at that.
I mean, when this came out, this was Bon Jovi before Bon Jovi. I mean, when this came out, we were lucky enough to interview Aldo Nova on a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he was going from a kind of a dance music into a hard rock. And I mean, you listen to stuff like Fantasy, Fooling Yourself, and Ball and Chain is, for me, the track off of this album. People don't understand, when this came out on the radio, it was nonstop. I mean, these songs were huge. Fantasy, Fooling Yourself, like I said, Under the Gun.
Under the Gun.
It's Too Late. I mean,
I call you on the telephone. That's Too Late. It's too
mixed
late.
by Tony Bon Jovi, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Aldo went on to do lots of other bands, lots of other groups.
Saints and Sinner? No. That was a sort
Celine Dion. He showed us his Grammy from Celine Dion.
Yep. He worked with Bon Jovi on the Young Guns, right? He worked with him on Young Guns.
He out Bon Jovi.
Yep. He was the blueprint of Bon Jovi, basically. Runaway, he did the demo. I think he did the keyboards and the guitar. Oh, they want me to serenade everybody. Alan, one day we should do a duet.
No, you don't. Nobody wants.
We want to do a duet on.
All right, so hey, Jim.
What song? Yeah.
Jim, I just see here. Let me pull this up. I just seen it a second ago here.
Mm-hmm.
I see Old Harry Productions. He wants to see A16.
A16. Alpha 16.
Right. I got lots of A's, so this should be
Can you go to
interesting.
16 though? Can you go to 16? I think we should do Take Hold of the Flame as a duet.
This is, here we go. A16.
A16, Old
This
Harry
brings
Production.
back memories.
Hey.
Akadaka. Dirty Deeds. Done. There.
Done
Cheap.
cheap.
So, let's see here. Dirty Deeds. I purchased this before December 1992 because that's when I started keeping track of which albums and which days I bought. Some confusion about this, Jim, right? Back in Black had exploded.
Yep.
And they said, what do you mean we got an album lying around that was never released? Yeah, it wasn't good enough. That's this album here. They said, you can't release the album with another singer that is already 4 or 5 years old. And they said, yes, we could, because we want to make money. So at the time, there's a little label here that says this album consists of the band of, and then they would say Mark Evans, Phil Rudd, Bon Scott.
Disclaimer, basically.
And to this day, AC/DC is convinced that by releasing this after Back in Black, it really hurt the sales For Those About to Rock, which is an unbelievable album. The only problem with that album is that it followed Back in Black.
And a little note when on Dirty Deeds, the song, when he reads the phone number, that phone number has been called so many times that the people who own that phone or that number at the time, screamed harassment, basically.
That's it. 4230, yeah. 450.
What is it? What is it? I don't remember what the number is. Somebody Google that number, please, so we could call that number live on air.
Yeah. Let's do it right here.
Australia.
That was
Hello?
A16 for Old Harry Productions.
You know what I remember, Alan? I remember that album. I walked into Woolworth or Zellers or one of those bargain big box stores, and I remember seeing Back in Black as a kid, and very exciting because it was played on the radio nonstop. And then I saw Dirty Deeds, and at the first your thought was, oh, there's another Brian Johnson-ish album, right? We're young here. It's like 1980, right? But to your point, this is another band. This is another album. We're trying to cash in here. And I'm actually happy they did. And when I went to friends' houses, I would notice they had both those albums because they were just selling like hotcakes. They were just it's just another level.
Ride the wave while it's hot,
man.
Right?
Yeah. All right, Debbie the Reb, 1369. Give us a letter and give us a number. That's it. We need a letter and a number to go to the next album.
I think
or anybody else.
Cues. Some people wanted some cues.
Cues. Do we have any cues? We're waiting. Oh, Carlos, Q1.
All right.
Q1 it is. Q1. Dress Down Friday.
I think I know what this one's going to be. Yes.
Q1.
Yes.
Q1.
Yes. Is that a surprise? That's no surprise. That's no surprise.
Oh, boy. Look at that.
Let me scroll down here. Let me scroll down. Give me a second here, Jimmy. 2nd of December, 1983. I bought this new. December 2nd, 1983. I remember not only was it cheap, right? It's an EP, so it was cost less. And we didn't have much money back then, let's face it. Yeah. They had just finished opening for Twisted Sister here in Montreal. And the reviews the next day was Queensrÿche blew Twisted Sister off the stage. To the fact that the crowd was so disinterested in Twisted Sister that Dee Snider, it was reported in the newspaper the next day, grabbed the chair, sat down on stage and said, I'm not giving you any more until you start giving some stuff back to us. So I'm sitting in this chair until you guys start going crazy. But, Queen of the Reich, that says it all, right? The lady wore black. This was a great taster I'm lucky enough.
Doesn't
Easter egg,
matter.
slight Easter egg, little Easter egg. There's Jeff
Bring it
Tate's
out.
signature.
Oh, cool.
We've
Did
been
you go to
blessed
Rock on Stock to get that?
blessed to meet Jeff. Oh, this was probably Rock on Stock, yeah. And it was one that because it was cheap, you only had a couple of bucks left in your pocket after buying the albums. Well, you bought this one just because you were able to. I think it was $3.99 back in the day.
Did they play the Spectrum?
At that time, I believe it was the Spectrum. Yes.
Yeah. So this is what I remember from JJ French, what he told me. Here they are slugging away for like 7-8 years, Twisted Sister in the tri-state area. And then out of nowhere, this band Queensrÿche, with very few gigs under their belt,
very few,
suddenly hit the stage. They got an album. The album's shooting up the charts. Meanwhile, Twisted Sister is scraping to get by. Again, I love both bands. I'm not going to knock them. But I'm just saying that was quite the sort of surprise on the Twisted Sister camp that these guys out of nowhere, extremely talented, just like friggin' were rising and just doing great. So that's pretty cool.
So for those who are unclear of the concept, this is the metal collection.
Yep.
Or metal. So Queen, yes, Queen did not make it on this side. I did have the game at one point, but I think that's long disappeared. So that's why Q1
Alan,
for us was Queensrÿche and not Creed.
What label was Q1 on? So from what I remember, it was self-financed, self-released, and then it got picked up by. Then it got picked up by a major, I believe.
This particular one is EMI, so it was already.
So that's right.
This is not their self-financed version. It was already the EMI version.
So whoever has the self-financed version, that is the real keeper, right?
So again, December 2nd, 1983 was the day I forked out cash for that particular album.
All right. You want the next letters? All right.
You're in charge.
Deb the Reb 1369 says Z5. Zebra 5.
Might be limited when it comes to the Z.
We got Zebra there. We got Zeppelin.
I don't have any here, but let's see if we go over to shelf B.
Let's dig deep.
Let's see here. It's not here, but I do have a Zebra album, the first Zebra album, who was being touted as the next Led Zeppelin.
Z5. Do you have it?
E?
Z5. Zebra
Z.
5. Z.
No, all I have is the album Zebra. I don't have it with me. I didn't. That's in.
Where's that? Stiff Rod's house.
That's on another shelf, Jim.
Well, Alan, what kind of game is this if you're not going to dig deep on the shelf?
Z or Z in Canada would be the Zebra album.
ZZ Top, nothing?
No, Jim. We're focusing metal, Jim. Right?
Well, they got crunchy.
Don't you start.
All right. We need some more letters and numbers, please, on Dress Down Friday.
Again, this is not every album in the world. This is just my personal collection. So I'm running short on N, like Nancy, and Z comes like Zebra. But I do have a Zebra album hidden away somewhere.
K, like in Kilo 4. K4, Kilo 4.
Quite a few Ks here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I love this album. Kick-Axe. Welcome to the club. What a great album. Not only did it a great cover version of with a little help from my friends, but I think the production on this, it's Spencer Proffer and Randy Bishop from Pasha. Mm-hmm. The production on this is unbelievable. And of course, Mr. Crispin's voice is probably the best he's ever did was on this album. Kick-Axe, welcome to the club. I think this is a Stiff Rod special. Let me just go back and have a look here. I had purchased this from my good friend Stiff Rod when he was liberating his vinyl collection, and he was nice enough to sell it to me.
Buy with a little help with my friends, which is the Beatles, but it's the Joe Cocker version on that album, correct?
Yes, and you have Lee Aaron on there.
Yes.
I think you've got the Rick Emmett, if I remember correctly. Zappa Costa. There, that starts with Z.
Jeez, Zappa Costa. Going back in time now.
I don't know, maybe Darby Mills from Headpins might have been on there.
Don't
I
you
know
make
Lee
me
Aaron was
feel
on
like...
there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The metal queen.
But that is a great album. I mean, by far more mature album than Vices.
Mm-hmm.
And I think an overall better album than Rock the World, which followed. But anybody that has Kick Axe 4, which was released decades later, that is also enjoyable, but Mr. Crispin is not the singer on that one. So
now, Spencer Proffer, what he did is he had that big gang vocals, right? Those anthemic big vocals, and that's
really
exactly what Kick Axe, sort of their sound, right? And when you see them, when I saw them live with the Scorpions, there you go, the big harmonies, right?
George Crispin. Right. I stand corrected. I didn't think it was Crispin. I knew it was George, but it's Kristen.
Kristen.
The sole American in the group, I think.
He's not in the band anymore.
No. If you listen to Kick Axe 4, it's one of the original singers.
Mm-hmm. So. All right, so here we go.
Ernesto, yeah, you are correct. You're Ernesto. I do have that album.
Under W.
But I will not tell you what it is unless somebody chooses it.
Ben is saying, requesting B2, please, and guessing it is Black Sabbath Paranoid. Let's have a look.
Oh, B2.
Let's have a look.
All right, there's quite a few Bs here. This will be interesting.
Maybe you'll pull out a B52.
All right, and let's get past the A's. Oh my gosh, the A's go on forever. All right, B1 and B2. Oh, actually,
B2.
It's the first Black Sabbath album.
Bum, bum, bum. Ooh, The Lady is Green. Everybody noticed the
remember
Lady
hearing
is Green.
this at my good friend Cork's house, and it was completely dark, completely just something that's unbelievable. I think I liberated this. No, this was a used record. I bought this from a used record store. What a great album. The drumming on that is phenomenal.
My cousins had that album, and I was a young kid, and they were older, and they would just play it on their stereo. They just played the intro to Black Sabbath, and back then you're like, holy crap, I've never heard anything like this. So it was that was my first dip into Black Sabbath.
All right, we got Carlos Daniel is convinced that if you choose W2, you're going to get Warlord and the Cannons of Destruction. Let's see if Mr. Carlos Daniel is correct at W2. All right.
Marcy saying hello, seeing the gems. I guess she's referring to your record collection.
What do we got here? Oh, he is incorrect, but I'll tease him just the same. W2 is actually USA Warrior.
Oh, fighting for the world.
We are fighting
for the earth. Where would we be? Is that how it starts?
There you go.
If we had the ability.
That would be W2, but since you brought it up, W1 would have been Warlord and the Cannons of Destruction with Thunderchild on drums, also known as AKA
Marzander.
There you go.
You know what's interesting about Warlord, Alan?
War 1.
Well, not Warrior, Warlord.
W2? Oh, Warlord? Okay, we're going Warlord.
These guys, back in the day, they were on Metal Massacre, from what I remember, right? Was it Metal Massacre? It was Metal Massacre, right? They appeared on the compilation. They never played a show live back then. They only recorded this video of a live performance.
Soundtrack.
That's right.
I remember every Friday night, Jim, as you know, here in Montreal, a radio station played the Metal Files.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing Deliver Us from Evil on the Metal Files. I would tape it every Friday night.
Yeah.
And I went out and bought this album, Bonsai Records, right here in Montreal.
Bonsai.
Bought that based on that song, Deliver Us from Evil. And then, of course, Lost and Lonely Days, Aliens. Just a great album. But W2 was actually a video I remember seeing back in the day, which was Fighting for the Earth.
Where would we be if
Love
we had the
that
ability
video.
to let our
And,
minds wander?
Bruce Turgon, I think he used to play in a band with Lou Gramm, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's playing bass on here.
All right,
So
guys.
close, but no cigar, Mr. Carlos. That was actually W1. So that's what we got happening there.
Carlos is saying don't have any Warlock album. Don't have any Warlock albums.
Warlock albums, no.
No.
From Warlord.
Warlord, yes. Warlock meaning as Doro.
Doro.
Besh.
Ben Laird's looking for B1. Where's the Blue Murder? Well, since you mentioned it.
Well, don't go there. We got to go with the letters, Alan.
Well, he brought it up, just to show him. I got to find it. It's not B1, but.
I feel like I'm playing bingo.
There's the Blue Murder for you.
It is.
I got this on cassette. Actually, I bought it on cassette first. And then bought this used decades later. Love that album.
Yep. Where is he now?
Got the second one on CD, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Carmen Apiece is actually waiting by the phone for John to call at any time. He's always ready to go to reinvent and rehash and regroup Blue Murder with John Sykes. So,
I met John Sykes.
You were lucky.
I met him backstage, and basically, you know what? I was kind of like too blown away that it was him that I forgot to say, "Hey, let's take a picture together." You ever get those moments like you're going, "Oh, it's him! I can't believe it." He's tall too, right? I'm like 5'8", but he's like 6 something. So I'm looking up there and going, "Wow, that's him!" And I said hi, and he said hi. Shook his hand. He shook my hand, and that was about it.
Jim, hi and hi.
I go, "John," he goes, and he was pleasant. I mean, that's about it. But I should have took a picture. I didn't take a picture because we were like, it's a long story. It was the Metal Hall of Fame. It was backstage, and it was just like happened so quickly like this. Should have taken a picture.
The legendary John Sykes, and like I said before, there's only a handful of guitarists that you can hear their tone, and you know exactly who's playing. I mean, my friend Cork always says it's George Lynch, and I think Gary Moore, but I think John Sykes is another one that has its own sound. I had a Joe Lynn Turner and Glenn Hughes album. And right away, there's one of the songs I heard it. I said, that's John Sykes playing guitar. There was nothing listed in the credits, but when you Google it, yep, sure enough, it was John Sykes in guitar. So he's got that distinct tone.
Yep.
Thin Lizzy, Thunder and Lightning. What a great album because of him. And of course, his work with Tigers of Pantang. So.
We ready for the last one, Alan?
Last one, Jim.
All right. Who's going to get the last one? Carlos, you gave us a lot of them. Who else is going to give us one? One letter, one number. One letter, one number. We wait. We've gone through a lot of good stuff today, Alan. We've gone through a lot of good stuff. Marcy saying one of my favorite guitarists. Ernesto saying that's what I said.
Well, we already Carlos Daniel. We did one. We'll try to get to somebody else. Ben Laird. Ben Laird wants B1 or J6. How's that, Jim?
Ben is.
You got to go with J6.
Alan, we're going with J, like yes. Jumping Jack.
As in Jacques. Hello, my name is Jacques.
Jacques.
Nice to meet you. J.
J.
All right, J6.
J6.
All right, we're starting here.
6. And I want to tell everybody
1,
on this Sunday
2,
3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
Okay, hold on. Pause right there. This Sunday, you can't miss this. Nick Bocott live with us Sunday, probably around 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Grim Reaper fame.
Grim Reaper. Nick, who's friends with Yngwie, He's gonna go. He's gonna talk about the first 4 Yngwie Malmsteen albums. Then we're all gonna argue and try to rank them all. The first 4, the classic 4. So stay tuned for that. Also coming to Canada, Yngwie's one-man masterclass. So coming to Quebec City, Ottawa, Quebec,
Montreal,
Toronto, and Montreal.
Toronto.
So you're going to be masterclass. Yngwie Malmsteen is going to be on stage with his guitar, probably some backing tracks, taking questions from the audience. And it's going to be in a sort of intimate club. So I think it's going to be pretty cool.
So Ben Laird, here we go. You chose it. The one we're going to finish on.
J6.
Point of entry, Judas Priest. Heading out to the highway. Love it. Well, my favorite off of this is Desert Plains.
Yeah, me too.
I love that song. And let's go down to Judas Priest. Let's have a look when this was in the collection as of 21st of May, 1984.
Pause. You have a list of when you've actually put these records into your vault?
I kept track of when I purchased them.
Wow, man. I don't keep track of anything.
1984.
I don't even have receipts.
Go. What's your recollections of this, Jim?
That's Desert kind of Plains. Like, that was sort of like an album I got into probably in the late 90s. Around there. It was 90s. Never... Yeah, like my older cousins, they had that album lying around, and it was just never something I really dived into. I was more of the Defenders and Screaming for Vengeance, British Steel.
Yeah, I have to admit, those are the albums that, let's have a look here. Those are the albums that sent me back to explore the other albums. But once you got into it with Screaming for Vengeance, what's funny is I bought Defenders of Faith as soon as it came out on the 9th of February, 84. And then I bought Point of Entry on the 21st of May, 84. And British Steel, the 7th of April in 84. Jesus. So thanks to Screaming for Vengeance, it led me to their back catalog. And I was a huge Judas Priest fan back in the day.
I'm pretty impressed, Alan. You have a spreadsheet of everything. Like you just have a little diary.
Thank you, Mr. Laird. That's the one we're going to end on here today. Okay. If you want to explore more of the metal collection, vinyl, we'll be happy to do this down the road. Let us know your thoughts, if this is worth doing, if it was a complete waste of my time, your time, Jimmy's time, or we can go no Easter eggs today, but there are Easter eggs in here somewhere.
Define an Easter egg.
If you find an Easter egg...
Define it. Like, what would be an Easter egg? What would be something?
I have to say, there's something inside an album that will reflect even more insight into the period. How's that?
Alan, you really get intense. You got your spreadsheet. You got your albums in little plastic things.
Alphabetical and chronological.
And numerical.
Numerical?
Right? It's like a record store.
Oh, well, Loudness wasn't, but it is now. So we learned something here today. So I learned something here today.
Yeah. We all learn something every day. All right. On that note, that's about it.
So thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we'll do this again. I mean, it was a lot of fun. This is Fun Friday here on the Metal
Fun
Voice.
Friday, Dress Down Friday. Look at that. I didn't wear my metal shirt, but I wore my Go Habs Go Montreal.
Except.
That's right. That was casual Friday. Casual.
Fun Friday.
I usually like to walk around the house with a piece of paper on Friday, make it look like I'm busy, but I'm not.
So, tune in a couple of days from now when we review the first 4 albums of Mr. Yngwie J. Malmsteen's Rising Force with the great Grim Reaper guitarist, Nick Bocott.
All right. Thank you, everybody.